Chapter 2. The Ultimate Essence of Life. The Buddhist sutras are full of allegories that vividly illustrate our actual situation. One of these runs as follows. One autumn evening, in a vast wilderness, a traveller had lost his way and was carelessly hurrying along a mountain path. Suddenly, he noticed that the path was scattered with small white objects and, upon closer inspection, realised that they were pieces of human bones. As he was puzzling over this, there suddenly came an astonishing roar, and a tiger leapt from the trees and was instantly closing in on him. Seeing the tiger, the traveller immediately understood the bones. He turned on his heel and began to flee as fast as his legs would take him. Having completely lost his path, he ran blindly, stopping just in time to avoid plummeting from the edge of a high precipice. At this, his hope of escape completely vanished. But then he saw a pine tree growing from the edge of the cliff, and from the tree a heavy vine dangled into the abyss. Its end concealed by a heavy mist ascended from the valley. Without any hesitation, the traveller grabbed the vine and began to lower himself down the cliff face. The tiger, seeing that its meal had escaped, stood off the cliff edge and roared ferociously. Thank goodness, because of this sturdy vine my life is spared. For a moment the traveller was at ease, but as he continued his descent, he thought he heard a strange noise below him. Suddenly, through the fog, he saw the rolling surface of a dark and angry sea, and the noise was of waves breaking on the jagged rocks below. He cried out in despair. The water pitched and heaved, and riding on a large wave directly below him were 3 giant sea serpents, each with its poisonous mouth agape, waiting for his fall. Terrified beyond words, the traveller began to shake with horror. As if this was not enough, he saw far above him 2 mice, one white and one black, clinging to the vine and gnawing away at its precious fibres. The traveller shook the vine, hoping to drive away the mice, but they only began to chew faster through the plant. As the traveller shook the vine, a beehive at the top of the pine tree dislodged and began to drip its honey into the chasm. Seeing this, the traveller managed to catch several drops of the honey in his mouth. He was filled with instant bliss. How intoxicating! At that moment, in spite of everything, he forgot his dire circumstances. Lonely Spirit. What is the meaning of this allegory? Shakyamuni Buddha told us this traveller's tale in order to elucidate the truth of human life. What follows is the key to understanding the allegory and hopefully will help the reader reflect more deeply on the story. The traveller. The traveller is each one of us. He or she is the ordinary human being, making his or her pilgrimage from birth to death. The wilderness. The vast wilderness is a metaphor for our lives, in which we are ultimately alone. Though we may live surrounded by friends and loved ones, no one can accompany us on the final journey into death. From the moment we are born, we become a traveller, and our lives become the wilderness we journey through. Since we are travellers, we necessarily have a destination, though we may have lost the way. If we have lost the way, whether through ignorance or carelessness, can we really say that we are any wiser than the traveller in our tale? The autumn evening. The dusk of an autumn day represents the importance of life, as well as melancholic, bittersweet flavour. Why do our lives so resemble an autumn evening? It is because we travel the world alone. And though we may not be lonely, consider for a moment that no matter how near to us in sympathy and friendship another may be, they cannot understand our feelings and perceptions from the inside. In our unenlightened state, each individual mind is a country with a population of one. Locked within our own subjectivity, we are utterly alone. In this sense, we can never fully unburden ourselves to another, or truly understand another's spirit. Even husbands and wives cannot fully grasp the things in each other's heart. This is the ultimate loneliness. Have you never felt this terrible isolation? The bones. The bones on the path indicate all times in life when we encounter the death of a loved one or a friend. We have lived up until the present and have probably seen many bones in our lives. What sort of thoughts do we have? What emotions? Have we never stopped to ponder the approach of the tiger of impermanence? The tiger. The hungry tiger is a metaphor for the coming of death. In this world, all things are impermanent. Hence, we cannot avoid death. From the perspective of the ordinary person, death is the most terrifying thing we know. Right now, the tiger of impermanence is rapidly closing in on us. However, when the chance we perceive the tiger, we turn away. It is too terrifying to confront directly, so we bolt down the path in an effort to escape. We run blindly, even forgetting what we flee, so as to completely avoid the issue. Like the traveller, we instinctively resist death. As soon as we get sick, we go to hospital to do battle with death and extend our lives. But ultimately, death is unstoppable. Our lives are in death's hands. When we hear that Buddhism frequently mentions the issue of death, we might grow suspicious or even feel revulsion for the Buddha-Dharma. Why would anyone want to embrace a way of life that constantly reminds us of death? But in fact, this is a complete misunderstanding of Buddhism, for it is the Dharma alone that can teach us how to solve the problem of birth and death. Only when we directly face death will we ultimately find the answer and be able to attain absolute joy. Thank you. Namo Ami Tufo.